So let's start again. That's what this week really showed up in a very honest and profound, true way. Every blink of the eye is a new beginning. Every in-breath and out-breath is a death and a rebirth. And to be able to exercise that in a conscious, profound way moving forward really showed up this week as required in terms of moving forward. The aspects that are showing up lately are vast aspects of what it is to be here. And whether it's reincarnation, whether it is we're on many dimensions at the same time in the moment of now, in different vibration, how it all sits, I don't know. But I know I'm here. And there's a consciousness here. And how do we sit in that when we're so taken away by so many other aspects and vibrations around us and so many stories that we each individually are in that creates how we approach going forward. And someone who I saw this week, and whenever we have a session, it's always a sense of, wow, well, I wonder what's going to show up this time. It's always so left field. And it never surprises me as to what shows up. And in the history of all those sessions, it came to this let's start again moment. And seeing her many years ago, the first session was very much to do with being in the womb and not wanting to come out. It's like, I don't want to come here. I just want to stay in here. Why do we even bother? And further down the line, the session was we'd finished the session, and sometimes there's this element at the end of the session that's like, well, maybe can we just put a cherry on the top or just add this extra bit? But the extra bit that's always added is usually this large picture, which is the cherry on the top. And this particular time, we'd found this peaceful place. And then the cherry on the top, so to speak, was, but I'm really depressed in the spirit. And I went, wow, that's a big bag to open rather than just a cherry on the top. But what she was experiencing in her beingness and the vastness of it was, we come into this world, and before arriving, there's this sense of what it is that is going to become known or become realized in some way. And what she saw was the vast energy of all who come and go and come and go and come and go. This aspect of coming, losing it, looking back and seeing, and then repeating it again, and then repeating it again, this whole, when are we as a collective, which she was feeling, as a collective, when are we going to arrive and feel in looking back that we achieved it? So there was a great sense of, why do we even bother? We come here, we're blind, we go, we see, we try again, and the repetition of it, she felt, was disillusioning and therefore was depressed about being here in the depth of her spirit, let alone her own journey here this time. So, different aspects of that. And another thing that comes out of that way of being, and it's not just one being, this can be seen quite a bit. There's the sense of, whatever happens in my life, I want to get it over and done with so it's nothing. and this constant striving for it to be nothing, and I'll do it, and then there's this freedom and it's nothing, and this, which turns into quite a chaotic pattern of never being able to stop, because there's always a sense of next. And how do we get to that still point, that wonderful still point where you can see it, which was the last one, seeing it. It's in the seeing. Because when you see it, it is almost as good as done. If you're in that silence of seeing, in seeing, you can then see the rolling out of, or the trust that that's the journey, and whatever it shows up, that's just part of the unraveling and the seeing and the becoming and the consciousness that we're a part of, and to enjoy that openness of, I don't know, I can see it, but how it comes about, I don't know. And I find that process, it's always so much better than what you even thought in terms of the whole experience. So what showed up was, because this being in wanting things to be nothing, you become more and more and more and more involved in the worldly aspects, wanting to get it done, wanting it to be completed, wanting it to be sorted. And there are times when life is way more complex, and that the sorting and the direction even can get lost in organisations, and then you're in a trap of trying to fix things out when the road isn't even clear yet about where it's going, yet you have to keep going and get it all done. So the depth of that was so deep in the worldliness that her spirit basically said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. And it was wonderful, because in that, it was like, oh, God, how's this energy going to come into centeredness? Because we dig ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper into habits and desires and wanting things to be completed, that we forget to even be here. So what showed up is this, it's like the skies opened up and said, I'm going to give you a download. I thought, well, this is good. And what showed up was the vortexes. So if this is, and it's good that it's this dark dot, because it's the void, the profound darkness from which all light comes and reveals itself. And then there's this spiraling. But there's also a spiraling in this direction. And what the download was, it was saying that it spirals that way, it spirals that way, and you can be taken too far out in the spirit. You can also be taken too far into the physical. And those of you who are kinesiologists, you actually get that when we balance people to the crossover of left to right, that it's being here in that crossover point, not too much into the heavens, not too much into the grounding material, but how to hold them together, and between the two of them, bring through what it is, the next step moving forward that one desires or experiences or expresses itself in. So it was kind of indicating we need to get here. We need to be at that point to start again. And I can't quite draw it here, but if you can imagine that it was showing up in this field, moving into above and below. But what it then showed was when you're in that spot, the energy then spirals forward and out the back. Some of you may have seen pictures in books of the chakras where these cones go forward in the body and back in the body. And they go up and down and all over the place. So what it was really saying here is the plane of above and below is there. But in the being in the center of that, what really the opportunity is to start anew is to be in that place and move forward with no history, with a sense of becoming anew, getting rid of habits, to see outside of the habit, to see anew, to start again. So I did a quick online session with somebody who has really started to become consolidated in seeing it that way. But being tired, wasn't able to get to the still. The tiredness takes the seeing away. The tiredness takes us into a place where we're just over it. Why does it keep happening? Why do they keep doing that? And being affected by what people say to you. When you're not tired, you can actually reflect and see that it says more about them than it does about you. And you can have more of that overview that knows how to respond appropriately with who you are rather than react. And when that happens, we all fall off our bike, left, right, center, whatever. It's about going back to that place and going, oh yes, I can remember how to go to that place and to start all over again. Oh, that's right. That's how I prefer to be. That's how I wish to move forward. And it's not having that whole history of this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, and therefore react in relationship to that, to be in that center point where we, every moment, every blink of the eye, the opportunity is there to shift and to choose anew with a form of seeing and how you can bring how you see it into being. And when that is shared with another and we see the same way, that's when the bonding arrives, because we see the same. We're not efforting, we're not striving, we're not goal orientated. We see it, and in seeing it, we then enter into it and see what shows up and enjoy it. So it's a beautiful, creative still point from which to come. And the cards that showed up at the beginning of the sessions now showed up, and it was followed up by surrender. So I'm going to read them because they flow beautifully together. And then that was followed with an Australian bush essence. So I'll share those with you. So now, live now, be now, acknowledge now. Now is the only time you need to consider. Unchain yourself from the past. Unravel yourself from the future. You are here. In this now moment, enjoy it. Is there something to be done? Stop dreaming and do it now. You see it? Go do it. Because there's an element of wanting a completion and being driven into the completion rather than seeing it and then bringing it about and doing it. Surrender. Surrender to the highest force of your being and expect that which is always for your highest purpose. And from that place that you're in, that is the player, that is the lover of self that brings out the best, better than what you imagined. Let go and live. You do not always need to control the direction. Simply surrender to the energy of all. You need not use your logical mind to create miracles. Only know that the answer to a question comes when you let go the need to have that answer. Oh dear. I will see what that is. I'll be back.